All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into game number one. It seems like we had a little bit of a pause. MaNa has to get the phone. But just a little bit info about our the player that I think most people are not going to be as familiar with, HateMe. He is playing from Romandi Gaming. He's a Zerg player. And from the country that has the two-letter acronym AT. I don't know what country that is.
Country AT. It's at
Arts and Saws. I don't know.
Australia?
No, that's
Austria?
AU. That's AU.
Oh, Austria is AT.
Oh, Austria. Okay, that would make sense. All right, well, I guess starting down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It's Liquid MaNa.
In the top right, the blue Zerg, he is HateMe.
Yeah, so this guy, he has been playing actually a decent bit according to Aligulak. In the past couple of months, we have 134 games played in competitive matches, so even though I'm not super familiar with him, seems to actually have a pretty decent win rate, especially in ZvP, around like 71%.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. Hopefully it's against good players too.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. It's like it's always questionable though, because it might not be against, let's say, the greatest players. Of course, players like MaNa who usually, get to the semifinals or even just win Corsair Cups, Matrino Cups, all that type of stuff. I mean, we have our usual contenders in the bracket today: Bly, Snoot, MaNa. Who would be the fourth? Hydra. That's right. Hydra's here. He actually really intentionally wanted to just sign up for like every single online tournament. He kind of fell off the last like 2 or 3 weeks, but apparently he's back on it. I don't know.
Yeah, he has been absolutely going ham on online tournaments. I've just seen him in everything, and he has just been winning a lot of them.
Yeah, well, that's what he does best.
Well,
If you don't like the matches that we're covering, I think Rifkin is still planning on streaming on his channel, but unfortunately he's getting the issue that a couple other Twitch streamers are having where, for whatever reason, it's like a bunch of drop frames to their preferred server.
yeah, hopefully he does get that resolved, but I'm also kind of wondering about this pylon from MaNa, because this pylon inside the natural expansion of HateMe, it's actually something that's going to be out of vision range even when the hatchery finishes, I think.
Yes, definitely. I'm not sure it's out of range though when that mineral starts getting mined, or of course when the gas is taken.
I mean, here's the thing that you don't think about very often. The minerals, or the rally point for this hatchery is at the far mineral patch, so he's actually not going to start mining from there immediately.
Well, that's just it. It used to be like, Wings of Liberty, you'd be like, oh my god, he's gonna cheese him with a 4-gate, it's gonna be right in the base, there's no way it's gonna hold it.
Yeah.
But even in Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void, it's like far less likely you're actually going to get a lot done from that. Now, if MaNa's going to go for DTs, okay, that's where you still really want that proxy.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so weird because it takes so much longer, it feels like, to get up warp gate technology while also having that hidden pylon there and alive until that stage in the game. And I mean, even just like transferring workers might actually end up scouting this out. Yeah, it really does.
There you go. Well, there's, the farther saturated. Well, okay, so the thing is that even though a proxy pylon's there, it's the entire build that MaNa's doing is not dependent on a proxy pylon. Like, it helps, and it's silly, but his DTs can still walk in unscouted because HateMe hasn't bothered scouting the main base at all. Like, there's nothing telling him that something's a little suspicious other than, oh, he tried to get a pylon in my base. Some pros just try that when you don't scout. I mean...
I wonder if it's even just something to... Because you look at the timing for it, and look, he's kept the Zerglings back inside of HateMe's base for at least an extra, like, 15, 20 seconds. And because of that, now Warp Gate Technology is about to finish up. The DT Shrine is going to be finishing up pretty soon. So maybe it just stops the amount of scouting that a Zerg player can do out on the map.
So... Here's where those proxy dark shrines are like a little difficult to tell because of course 3 gateways and a Twilight Council and basically any type of tech, Twilight, Robo, Stargate is kind of normal, but if you actually saw all the gas timings, maybe it would be like it's a little suspicious. Maybe if you actually saw the third timing, it'd be like that was like I don't know, like 20 seconds off, but everything is just like a little bit off. It's something that's going to scream at you, hey, watch out, there's a hidden something. I like HateMe though, like going for those like, okay, just in case, like I see a Twilight Council, but he's not really like anything to attack me. Let's get some Spore Crawlers. I think that's probably gonna save his life, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chance of it. He's even making a couple of Banelings that are going to be nice in case he's up against an Adept opening or anything. So he is really just preparing for whatever could be the case. And there is going to be an Adept follow-up. Oh, wow, actually, using the Baneling on the DT doesn't actually do too much with it, though.
No. Well, that is the thing that is a 40. Like, if he ever went for Spore Crawlers, you know, he could try and just hit with them with ETs. But obviously, he knew something was up. And this is actually MaNa in online tournaments. It's actually pretty cheesy, so it was a good call by HateMe. He got that scout in with fast overlords, which, I mean, it looked like he wasn't going to do. He kind of did it at the last second, you know, within 15 seconds of that Dark Shrine finishing, and it's actually looking pretty good for it. Now, still not great. MaNa didn't do this in an all-in type of fashion with like a Warp Prism and like morphing into an Archon, and he's also has his third up.
Yeah.
But at least HateMe didn't die to something silly.
I think that's sort of my biggest concern right now for HateMe. He is finally starting to get up to Hydralisk Den, and I think he's going to be more than well prepared for these Adept harassments, because look at this. One of the Adepts is already going to end up falling. The other Adepts, I think, are going to get pretty low on health, so I don't know if they're really going to be able to get a lot of drone kills.
That was really cool, though. His, the block with one of the Adepts. He does get into the main base and forces a transfer, so that's 8 drones killed, plus a lot of lost mining time. And I guess a handful of Zerglings. So for 7 Adepts, I think that's actually worth. Oh, and there's Archon.
This Archon is going to get a Queen kill. It's going to get a lot of Zergling kills, too. Well, some.
It was indecisive.
What do I attack?
Didn't kill the Banelings.
I think we do have a Baneling drop that's getting ready on the left-hand side of the map, though. He's got the 3 Banelings, 2 Zergling attack. For those who are wondering why, it's just because you don't really start one-shotting workers with Banelings until you have +2 melee attacks. So if you add in 2 Zerglings, all of the probes that you hit are going to be unbelievably low on health. And basically, Zerglings can, like, almost one-shot them at that point.
I want to give a shout-out to... Hold on, gotta get my dashboard up. I know we had resub. Whoa, wait a minute. Let me actually check in chat. Twitch alerts is really wonky. Infest Dylan subscribed for 5 months in a row. That's the one I was looking for.
Ooh, thank you, Infested Dylan. Of course, there is the Overlord coming in as well into the natural expansion. Not going to make a whole lot happen as the probes are pretty much on an immediate retreat path out, but here come in the depths at the same time.
Yeah, really good split, and this is where Baneling defense against Adepts actually... Yeah, keep moving those probes. Baneling defense against Adepts actually isn't the end-all be-all because the splits can be just that good. There's the Overlord. Okay, so the Banes end up doing a whole lot.
Yeah. Adepts also managed to get some pretty decent kills. As you were saying, like, the splits are pretty good against the Banelings. And there's no Banelings left over, so now he's really just kind of relying on some of these Hydrals coming out to do the DPS while the Zerglings soak up the shots. But Adepts are now just focus firing their way down on top of the drones that are left around. And I would say MaNa has been pretty successful with this so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 10 probes are down for him, and he's only added 3 more drone kills with the Adepts, but he's certainly done a lot of army damage this time. A lot more Lings have gone down. The Hydras actually can't take on the Adepts by themselves. So a couple of those went down. It's still not a terrible trade for MaNa, but he is dedicating quite a lot to it, and definitely this latest warp-in isn't worth it.
Yeah, I mean, he is dedicating a lot, but at the same time, I kind of feel like he's actually trading out versus some of the Zerglings, so it's not exactly like the army count right now for HateMe is unbelievably high, and he still hasn't gotten a 4th expansion, and that is what kind of concerns me about HateMe's situation. He doesn't have a 4th, he doesn't have a Lurker Den, he doesn't have, like, that next transitionary thing for a Zerg player.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess his macro has certainly been, just interrupted by MaNa's harassment. MaNa's macro is actually looking pretty good, right? He's got charge, +1, storm, more gateways coming down. Sure, he's he's banking a little bit of minerals himself. Production maybe should have gone down sooner, but it's like nothing compared to like the lack of a 4th base or just the lack of an army really from HateMe. Only 20 supply up to a Protoss is actually not that scary. Protoss are like used to dealing with like 40 supply up.
Yeah, Baneling drop, not so effective in the main base, as MaNa is definitely right on top of it as soon as it comes in.
Big attack coming from HateMe. This is pretty all in. He never got to a very high drone count. Never got to that 4th base.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering, like, he's gonna go for this big attack, but I kind of wonder, like, would he have been better off trying to get up a lurker den or something and just trying to do it almost like a contain to deny the 4th for a little bit? He's gonna commit to this, though.
And MaNa sees it while trying to take a 4th base. It's already a little split. Storms are ready to go. There you go, on top of those Hydras. Soften him up for the Archons. His production only just finished, which is I think what makes this look closer than it really is. All he needs is another Warping of Adepts, and he should have this.
Yeah, there are more Zerglings and everything streaming across, and oh my god, Baneling's going to be able to connect with a decent number of these Adepts as they're warping in, and actually, suddenly, MaNa's reinforcements don't look nearly as strong as they were before. Photon overcharges were also used earlier to defend against the Baneling attack, so I think he has maybe 2 less Photon overcharges than he wants.
He has 10 gateways. Even just given a second more, they would have been combined with the ultimate, like the Archons and those Storms, but it actually might just be snowballing here. HateMe is getting harassed on the other side. Looks like MaNa used some of his warp-ins on the
Oh my
attack,
god.
and that actually might have cost him his 3rd base, or a lot of probes at his 3rd base.
Oh boy. This is a best of one zombie grub. Like, this isn't something that MaNa can mess around with.
Yeah, that might have been, I mean, I imagine those were, I don't know if they're High Templars or Dark Templars. I imagine they're High Templars, but
Yeah.
still, any amount of warp-ins when your production is only just finished. I mean, that might have been the warp-ins from like the 4 gateways he had, and he was still waiting on the 6 gateways. The 3rd base goes down, and this is exactly what HateMe needed for his lack of economy. Now he's getting a 4th base, but he's still not an ideal drone count. If this was, I think, a cleaner, like, early game for HateMe, he's already demolished MaNa, you know? If he actually didn't take any damage from those Adepts or mess up his macro a little bit. But luckily, he did. He's now getting the drones. He's now getting the lurker den and doing that transition. But can MaNa actually bring this back after losing the 3rd base?
Oh, it's gonna be a pretty difficult call. I don't know. He's making a lot more of these Adepts, a lot more of these High Templars, and he does have Storm this time. So maybe he can just take like a good enough engagement that makes it worth it. I actually wouldn't even hate to see him do something like transfer some of those Adepts right onto maybe like a clump of the Banelings. You set them off automatically.
Yeah, like send 1 or 2 in there. We saw
Yeah.
other products do actually some of that. Just like intentionally only cancel like 8 out of 10 of the Adepts. But I'm looking for those Storms. The Storms can make the Banelings a non-HQ. Almost do, but actually get on top of those High Templars. Not ideal for MaNa, but enough to send the army back. And that's a very fragile army. Like once the Adepts chase it, it's gonna go down.
Yeah, I mean, this army is pretty much forfeit for its life right now. And the big question is, can HateMe actually do anything with this 4th expansion? Looks like the Dark Shrine did get found as well. So that's going to cut down any potential for DT warpins later.
Well, MaNa's gonna bother try and save it, because if this game does go on for much longer, I don't think it will, but if it did, Dark Shrine could be very helpful. MaNa, his 3rd, unfortunately, is being denied by an overload with creep. He doesn't have a lot of anti-air. I think he does want to retake it. Yeah, there he goes. He has enough minerals for it, for sure, but he also has a lot of momentum here. That Archon's gotta take the Baneling hits. Mostly does.
Ooh.
Oh, that was actually pretty good at the end, though, from those Banelings. They got a lot of Adepts.
Those Banelings did a lot, and here we go. Lurkers are over here. Are there any observers? I don't know if there's actually any observers. There's no observers.
He's gonna try and shade, I guess, around them. We have some going to the 3rd base, the natural base, and of course that 4th still isn't protected, although it'll take some time before those Adepts can actually tear down a base.
Oh my god, this is actually... I feel like this has got to be it for MaNa, though, because now the Mutalisks are going to be coming out since the Spire's there. It's going to be protected by that Lurkers, and the Lurkers are eventually going to be able to clean this up.
So it's a bit of a question. I think that the Muta might end up winning the game, but it's not a lot of Mutas, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they still have to clean up all these Adepts, and there's only like 4 or 5 of them. As long as the Adepts keep avoiding the Lurkers, they're gonna, you know, stay alive for a long time, and that might give MaNa the opportunity of defending against the Mutalisk, but mind you, he's only like, he's still getting his 3rd up. He's mined out of his main, he's mining out of his natural. He can't really afford to add on Stargates, which would be the ideal response.
Yeah, it's such a weird situation because with the 4th expansion killed off for HateMe, that means that he's really only mining off of that 3rd just barely. And it's the exact same deal with MaNa, but with his natural expansion. I mean, some of these mineral patches only have 150, 200, 300 minerals left on them. And until that 3rd gets up, he is really not mining. And even the 3rd, it has mineral patches that aren't looking so healthy.
I think MaNa, yeah, his best choice is to be relentlessly aggressive, so the mutas always have to take a fight with the Archons, because otherwise the mutas are going to run around his bases. But still nothing to deal with the lurkers. Oh, there's the observer. No,
Yeah.
but it's ready to go to Hydras. Oh, that's
Oh,
unfortunate.
killed
Okay, so
off
he's
by
gotta
2
rebuild.
Hydras.
He can still poke, because a lot of his units obviously have a lot of health, and there's only 4 lurkers, but it's always going to be so dangerous.
The Immortals can deny this, and I think if any of the lurkers try and move forward, the Immortals should be able to kill at least one of them.
Snipe him.
No, oh,
okay,
he
but they
didn't
don't
go
get
for
an
him.
opportunity to.
Oh god, he's actually trapped now. He's got to use that War Prism to elevate her up.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny. Enough stalkers have been warped in to clean up the mutas. These stalkers do not
Gotta
have
use them.
blink. Yeah, like put them in position. I
Oh
thought he was
boy.
gonna tap out. Oof.
This
This
is not
game
the
is
time
still
to lag.
not. This is still not tap out time for either player. It's actually very interesting.
Yeah. Oh boy, this is an intense way to have a best of 1. Well, I feel like at this point still though, like just having this many lurkers out and the lurker count's going to continue to grow. Like he's already still making more lurkers. I feel like HateMe just gets a better and better defensive position as long as he can just like secure this 4th expansion. But oh, he's actually starting to lose it.
Where'd that War Prism go?
Oh,
Oh, there it is. Oh, just-
yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice snipe on that 4th base. Lurkers that actually ended up being that much of a problem. I really don't know if HateMe should be going in more into Hydralisk. If he had gone more into Mutas, I think he would have had like 8 more by now, because he's had about 8 Hydralisk on production. So, I don't know, it's actually really tricky. If he didn't make any Hydras to cover the Lurkers, obviously the Observer would still be alive, and the Lurkers probably would have been concaved on. But if he had like 15, 20 Mutalisk, then MaNa could never catch up with them, and they could magic box 1 or 2 Archons. But it's actually a really tricky decision.
It's really, really hard because then, I mean, if you add in the Archons and the Stalkers together, I feel like even 10, 15 Archon or Mutalisks may not actually be enough to handle, you know, 2, 3 Archons plus 8, 9 Stalkers.
Yeah. It would have to be 20 plus, and
Yeah.
that would have been all of the Hydralisks we see here, just not on the field. Well, more Lurkers morphed in.
Yeah, and MaNa is making the push across the map, cleaning up some of that creep, and he does have yet another Observer. I almost wouldn't hate if some of those Spore Crawlers started burning themselves further down. Just making this as hard as possible for MaNa.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. MaNa's getting up to his own 4th base, and that's actually a problem for HateMe now. They're both still not in a very ideal probe count, but I guess since they're really only mining off of 1.5, 2 bases, maybe it's not so bad. But Mutas, yeah, they're not doing anything. 3rd base is covered. Natural, I guess they couldn't take on a single cannon. There's just not enough of them.
Yeah, you know, these Mutas have, despite not doing absurd amounts of damage, they have been consistently getting 2, 3 probe kills every single time they go in. They've actually been relatively effective, and between each of them, they all have somewhere between like 3 to 9 kills.
Yeah. Oh, Blink is now finishing up too, and that's going to really solidify MaNa's anti-muta defense, first of all, not that he really needed a lot of it. And then second of all, a little bit of his mobility out on the map. Like, he's been pretty bold with a very slow-moving army of Immortal and Archons, but it's worked out.
Big storm drop on the backside. Looks like some of these High Templars have 13 and 12 kills.
That's actually really good. That was cool.
Oh my god.
Mew's actually coming through the War Prism, though. Oh, can you save it, save it?
Oh, he's gonna be able to save it, and I mean, HateMe only has 29 workers left, and granted, let's be real, that's actually oversaturation for how many mineral patches he has left right now, but that's still not a lot of workers.
Disruptor's now on the way out to really take care of the lurker problem without, you know... Disruptor just mean eventually lurkers are gonna die. Yeah, you could probably kill the lurkers with a good concave of Archon Immortal, because that's so much health right there, but Disruptors means you don't really even have to, you know, risk losing units.
Yeah. Oh boy, and here go down the Mutalisks. I think a majority of them are starting to go down, or 2 of them so low on health. It's so funny. Actually, you know, even baiting out those storms, even if he loses most of the Mutalisks, like, I think that's actually worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was pretty good. And now HateMe is going to try and go back into Mutalisk. I mean, they lasted a lot longer than I thought they would. So their kill count actually racked up to something impressive.
Yeah.
Plus, he might be recognizing that the ground army is just going to be something that beats lurkers, you know, because it's getting to that point. Lurker Hydra is not going to be very effective. Usually, if this is like a regular macro game, it'd be like, okay, now's the time to go up to Broodlords, but that's not really going to be an option for someone only on basically one base now. Mutas might still have something to say in a base trade, but even that MaNa's preparing for. He's getting a Stargate.
I think even just the power of the Mutilus to potentially snipe off stray High Templar like these. Oh my god, actually, MaNa not paying attention might end up losing one of them, and he does. And does not get
There's
Mutas.
more than like 3 Mutas attacking them.
I know, right? It's like, these such low Muta counts. Are they going to actually be effective? But I mean, it's almost kind of reminds me of like old school ZvT, where the Zerg is just using the Mutilus to pick out any kind of stray units that are roaming around. He's also been able to take out that Warp Prism, so I mean the reinforcements are not really be coming in for MaNa for a while.
Well, 11 mutas to 15 stalkers, and of course the Archons and, you know, whatever else. So that's not really going to be effective. They could still try and base trade as the last-ditch effort here, but it probably wouldn't go very well. The stalker counts are going to continue growing. I mean, reinforcements for MaNa are actually going to be decent as his economy gets back up. A 5th base now on the way for Protoss.
Yeah, Mutilus are slowly getting picked off. They're not nearly as effective as their predecessors, but I mean, the Lurkers, I feel like, are going to be still kind of difficult for MaNa to break into until the Disruptor shots start going off, and now HateMe is on a timer.
Oh, jeez.
Oh!
Get the cocoons. Wow.
Oh.
That was really good.
Cocoons are as vulnerable as a Hydralisk, so not so ideal.
One cannon is actually something that the mutas really don't want to deal with. Overcharge, something they really don't want to deal with. So many one-shot away. I
mean, it makes sense these Mutilus are worth it in this. They're buying time for HateMe to get up more units, and also he's getting up his Hive Tech, so if he can get out some, like, if he can keep his Lurkers alive long enough against the Disruptors to get out Vipers. I was gonna say you might have a good engagement, but that's still difficult.
Yeah, and again, I mean, okay, Disruptor goes down, but the more Disruptors come out, he's gonna making 2 at a time. The rest of his army is actually colliding in here, and that's all of his Stalkers now. The Disruptors can continue to poke and get like freebie Lurkers. MaNa could probably also just try and take an engagement if he really felt threatened by like a base trade. These mutas are doing more damage, but they're not.
I mean, these
and
Mutilus, they aren't doing like devastating amounts of damage, but they've been able to reduce that work count down to just 38 workers. Granted, HateMe is only sitting on 30 himself, but still, oh god, these Disruptor shots though, they're winning the game right now.
Yeah. He's gonna lose 1, plus the High Templars as his army is just a little bit distracted, I suppose.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's unfortunate. One with the high energy. But the mutas are finally dying, it looks like. And he is just replacing them with entirely Hydralisk, which aren't really going to stand up against Storms. Vipers join the fray. That's something that Feedbacks could also take care of. So it's going to be a very dangerous engagement for both players.
Well, if you actually look at it, there's only 3 High Templars out on the map right now, and I think that 2 of those High Templars are freshly warped in, don't have a lot of energy, so I actually think that that's only enough for 3 Feedbacks. There's like 6-7 Vipers.
Yeah, I think if MaNa saw it, he might retreat and wait for more High Templars, but
yeah.
And then again, even with the Vipers, does MaNa just have too big and too good of an army? I mean, they Blinding Cloud, maybe they abduct the Disruptors.
Ooh.
That's really annoying and really expensive, of course, but they can't really abduct High Templars. That's just no good.
Oh, he's gonna try for it, and he does!
Yeah, you just feedback
god,
them. Like,
pays the price!
Even putting it into the middle of the army, some Protoss doesn't get the feedback off anyway. Like, you let it very early on in Heart of the Swarm, don't pull High Templars in.
The only kind of saving grace of it is that you use some of your energy, so maybe your Viper won't get one-shotted when they get fed back.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like the Lurker's just a little too far off to the left side, so the army just kind of sneaks on past. Where's the Observer?
Did he snipe the Observer again? I feel like that might be the one I don't even know if that's a saving grace at this point. I think it just delays a little bit longer, but I don't know. HateMe has what he needs to get up an army that can defend against this.
Yeah, he's just relying on, like, you know, tricks or whatever you want to call it for now, which is mainly sniping the Observer and keeping his Lurkers split so the Disruptors don't get those instant kills.
I like this
decision. Is a pretty damn good idea.
Yeah. You're going to be able to kill off a lot of workers, and MaNa doesn't have a lot of workers, so this sort of makes it so that if he can somehow get some amazingly good engagement, even if it is through some sort of tricks, MaNa's going to have a hard time replacing that army, and that's what's going to be important.
Yeah, thanks to Snowy Python for the 17-month resub.
Woo!
Woo. But this army fight still looking good, even as the disruptors get pulled in. Another one goes down because there's still Archons and disruptors. The Stalker count actually is not so scary. You know, usually you would see pure charged on a Mortal Archon against Lurkers, but Enough-Link Stalkers, especially used correctly, are still a very, very scary force to reckon with. This space needs more protection, and MaNa realizes that. It's just a lot of charge lots over there.
Yeah, he is going to be aptly prepared for this, especially considering none of these organs actually have carapace upgrades, so they're just getting two-shotted by the Zealots. He doesn't even need this many Zealots here.
Yeah, it doesn't. Thanks to Shaunison for the 2-month resub. Woo. Finally, that Dark Shrine goes down. Not that it's been so useful since the beginning.
Oh boy, and these Disruptor shots are pretty good in the sense that they're damaging a lot of the Lurkers. They're now going to die to one additional Disruptor shot, but not quite enough to kill them. And it keeps maybe HateMe's hopes alive for a little bit longer in this game. He's getting really far off the creep, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's desperate. He needs like a 5th base. Not that he could really saturate it, but if he doesn't do something now, he realizes he's going to die. I mean, 6 Vipers, they've done a couple of good abducts. I guess a Blinding Cloud or 2 has actually messed up the AI a little bit, but I wonder if that all could have been a last-ditch attempt to go into brute force.
Pull on the Archon, and the Archon just says, alright, yeah, sure, I'll hit you guys if you really want me to. But I think that's pretty much going to be it for the army.
Yeah.
There's the dance. And Liquid MaNa ends up walking away with victory in the first best of 1 of the day.
GG. Ended up being a lot better than I was really afraid that it'd be like a walkover. But that was actually close. At one point, HateMe looked like he was going to win.
It really was way closer than I think it almost should have been. Like, I don't know, HateMe was doing such a good job just hanging around on a really, really low economy situation, and those Mutals were doing some serious work. Like, those Mutals were keeping all of the Stalkers back. They were killing off, I think, a total of at least 20-some workers with just 5 Mutalists, and they were, like, picking up High Templar. They were like using up storms. Like, they were doing so much to just keep the dream alive.
Yeah, that was really good. But looking at the second round right now, unfortunately, some of the cooler options I think are already underway. So we should probably go into a break to figure out what exactly we want to cast next.
Yep. So we'll see you guys in just a little bit with the next round of the Corsair Cup.